too movement was going on. And so that's how we came up with her educational revolution. We have an audacious goal, and that is every girl in the nation graduates high school with the same competency in computer science as she does in math, art, English, and science. And so we want them to do that because we don't want girls just to be consumers of technology. They're born in a technology-led world. We want them to be creators of technology. And so her academy works with girls from preschool through 12th grade and giving them opportunities, lessons. We work with schools in computer science that really excite them to be leaders, regardless of their intended occupation. Karen, do you want to give a little bit?
I started out in natural resources. That's what my bachelor's was in, and then I worked in outdoor ed for a few years, and eventually started working at Columbus School for Girls in the preschool. At some point, I got trained to be the music teacher in the preschool, and which was great. It was a brand new thing that I learned how to do. I did that for about 10 years. Then I was asked to move to the elementary school and start working with computer science and technology. Didn't really know a lot about that, but they had trust in me that I was a really good teacher, and I understood kids, and I understood project work and long-term projects. And then her academy came to CSG, and then the amazing partnership began with computer science, and I teach 1st through 5th graders computer science.
And to give you a little bit of background about myself, my background is in STEM, and so I was at Battelle for about 13 years. And when I left Battelle, I was leading a large team of engineers, 98% men, focused on national security. So it was very white male dominated. I was leading a large business line focused on delivering hardware and software to the special forces. So as a woman, I did not have a military background, but I was trusted by the organization from a leadership perspective. I very much enjoyed my time there. I loved the challenges, I loved the clients that I met with. However, it was very difficult as a manager to recruit women into national security. The women that we did have, every team wanted her on their team because they were highly successful, because they had another thought, diversity perspective. So, but also in my background, my parents are retired educators. My husband and I have 2 girls. So, you know, education is really important, and the education for girls and women is just a seed in my soul. And so I like to tell people I'm back in the family business. When I left Battelle, I started her academy, and it was very hard for me to leave because I loved it so much. I thought that I was going to do both. I had a great mentor that said, hey, if you're going to be successful and you're going to change the world, you have to be all in where your heart is around getting girls excited and confident about computer science. And so it was a very scary step. You know, I think it's interesting where some people leave when they're not happy, but when you leave and you're really happy about what you've done and accomplished and the people that you've worked with, it's a different type of scary, but you can bring people with you and utilize what you've gained from those skill sets. And so we've done that at her academy. So I will, we started in 2018, and we have similar mission as CSG. CSG's mission is to empower every learner as a leader. And we want to do that as well through a skill set of computer science. And so what CSG said is, hey, you can utilize our school as a test bed. You get to work with our amazing teachers. We're going to allow you to test your curriculum and get it to excite girls to participate in it. Because what we want to do is we don't only want our girls to benefit from this, but we would like her academy then to be the extenders to excite the community and help bring up girls. And so we've done that. We're working with girls in 14 states right now. But at the time that her academy came in, CSG had 1 upper school computer science class. And I'm going to note today, for the United States, only 46% of high schools have a high school computer science class. So kids are not getting access to computer science the way that they should. And so as I'm going into this new school, my thought was, all right, I'm going to go into the middle school, and then we're going to build from the middle school, we're going to build a pipeline into the high school, and we're going to grow all of these amazing opportunities in computer science and classes. But that didn't happen. I went into the middle school, and at the time, it just wasn't a right, it just was not, I would say, the right environment and confidence as when I then met Karen. And Karen, you want to tell a story with what you thought her academy was going to bring to you?
I was like, woohoo! I had done 1 year as the Innovation Lab coordinator with a wide open range of what that actually meant. So it was a really hard year because I didn't know what the best things to do would be. And I thought, oh good, her academy's coming, they're gonna hand me the curriculum and work with me to learn it, and then I can be a computer science teacher.
Yeah, so you can imagine that conversation where
let's build this together.
Yeah, so she's sitting at the table all excited that I'm gonna just hand over this canned curriculum. And I'm coming in like, wow, I'm gonna work with this awesome teacher that I've heard so much about, who's willing to take risk and is completely changing, you completely change your professional field as a teacher, going from music to, so I thought, if a music teacher can do this, anybody can do this. So we're sitting at the table and she's ready for the curriculum and I'm ready to go, and we like both realize we're on 2 different pages. But it was fun. I mean, it was a great journey. Actually, it turned out better that we didn't have canned curriculum, because what we were able to do is I was able to listen to the needs and the passions of Karen as a teacher, and we were able to create a classroom environment that uplifted her strengths. And Karen knows her students well, so then we were able to apply the classroom lessons to what the girls are excited about. And so, you know, just another lesson when you think you're going in and everything's going to be the way you think it is and it gets flipped upside down. In the long run, you know, there's a plan that it turns out well. But it turned out great for us. But along the way, we had a lot of failures, fast failures, long failures. And what I really appreciate about Karen is she was able to share that with the students. Like, this is a process. And you want to talk a little bit about how you were very vulnerable with the students?
Everything broke all the time. I mean, it's technology. It was, computers wouldn't load their stuff, but things would crash. So many times we were getting Arduinos and we needed the servos to work, and it's like, it's not working, like your code looks great. What, like, I don't understand. Oh, plug it into an outlet, that might help.
Well, we spent 30 minutes debugging, plugging it into an
outlet.
Yeah.
But then it's like, it's just fun to go, oh man, did you believe that? And now I've started doing more at the beginning of my lesson, starting with the debugging project, starting with a problem that's either real or fabricated for the students to figure out what's wrong, so they just all get in the habit of it. Things aren't going to work right. Let's figure this out together.
Yeah, and let's see. So today, because of this partnership that started 6 years ago, the school is the largest school having the largest number of girls studying computer science. So when we launch programs, so there's our colleague Shannon that some of you know. When Shannon launches our programs, I remember one day she called me, she said, Lena, they sold out in 45 minutes. So these girls get computer science throughout the week, and they want more, and they're voicing their opinion to their parents. I don't want to do this 3 times a week, I want to do it twice a week, and I want to do computer science as well. And so through this culture, that's been built up. And they've come a long way where, you know, it really takes time to change culture, and I think that's a lesson that when you're starting out as an entrepreneur, you feel it, that it's going to make big changes, and it's really hard to put in all that hard work and do that waiting game. But the payout is so big because they went from having one computer science course in the high school to year-long classes in the elementary school. So these girls take computer science. It is a focus point in their curriculum as it is in math and language arts. In science. In the middle school, every girl takes a trimester, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And so what we find in these discussions is if they were not required to take them, they would not take them. They would not take the risk in doing that because they're pretty unsure, and it's something that some of them have never participated or had that experience in. And then,
I had a little story about that. We had some juniors who were going to be helping in the elementary school, and there were about 8 of them, and all but one said, put me anywhere, but don't put me in computer science. And the one that wanted to be in computer science was someone who had had it as an elementary student in our school, and she was continuing to take it in high school and felt confident in being able to be a teaching assistant in that class. So they're identifying as computer scientists at the age of 6 years old, and then that stays with them. We're seeing it stay and then having that enthusiasm as they get older.
yeah, Rocks, Ruling Our Experiences, is headquartered in Columbus. They have data where in the 4th and 5th grade, 25% of girls feel like they're not smart enough for their dream job. By the time they get to high school, it doubles to 47% of girls feel not confident enough to go after their dream job. And so what we're finding is in the school, when the girls start younger, they identify with it. And there's no stereotypes of, is this what I do? There is a huge advantage in that all girls are participating versus being the only girl in that, which is why Her Academy is a great extension to the community, because we do find, even when we have national events and we're on Zoom and we have to break for lunch, the girls want to stay on Zoom and eat their lunch together. They want to eat lunch with a girl in Arizona because they feel that connection in STEM and computer science, and they're really excited about it. And so why is this important? We all know that there's a lot of data around girls and confidence. A lot of that has to do with girls in 4th and 5th grade have a lot of confidence in STEM. A lot of girls want to go into STEM. But however, the older that they get, once they get into middle school, that significantly drops because of confidence. They haven't had the exposure or the time to fail through it. And so through computer science, we find, Shannon and I, that these girls, we teach them the content, and then the way our curriculum is set up, it's project-based, they are going to find the solution through their passion and interest. And women and girls are really good at digging into their passion and interest, especially to help a societal benefit. And so what this curriculum is doing is it's allowing them to tap into that. And so now they have ownership over it. They're not comparing themselves to other people's projects because they're all different. And a lot of curriculum currently, which makes us different, is that there will be a problem and everybody's solving the same problem. So once somebody over here, a student, is finished, if he's finished first, then a majority of the class will say, I just must not be good at this because I'm not finished, or maybe this just isn't for me because I'm still working through a different thought process. And so we find with our curriculum, especially neurodivergent learners, they're highly successful and seen as leaders through the process of our curriculum. And so it allows for growth mindset, perseverance, because when they leave, they may not have solved the problem. But the next time they see us, we're going to work together, they're going to work with their team to solve their problem, and that's real world problem solving. It's what you all do currently day to day with adults. But we've never really applied that to children. We've set this expectation, you have to come into the classroom, here's your sheet of paper of your math problems front and back, you have 3 minutes to finish all of them. And it's just not fun, and it's not a good feeling. And so we've turned that around so that they have ownership over it, and it's around their passion and interest, and that they are learning through perseverance and grit. Okay, the great thing about this that we're finding is the hard part is Ohio has 1,400 health teachers, but we have a handful of computer science teachers. And that's because health is a requirement, but computer science is not a requirement. So we have this lack of computer science teachers. What we have found that Columbus School for Girls has done is they took a preschool teacher and they were willing to take a risk and allow her to grow into the #1 computer science teacher, in my opinion, in the nation. Karen quickly became the popular teacher, which is hard for your peers. But from what I see on the side, but Karen did a great job then in recognizing that and doing quick collaborations with computer science plus PE, computer science plus social studies, computer science plus language arts,
Library.
computer science plus library. I mean, you name it, we all know that technology is interwoven into every market sector that exists. There's no reason why these kids shouldn't grow up understanding that as young as possible. This just talks a little bit about, I'll just highlight here, from her academy perspective, we work with other schools and after-school programs. We work with schools to provide professional development for teachers, and we work with schools that they can utilize our curriculum, and we have it for licensure. And so if they have somebody that says, hey, we just need the lessons, we can do that. And so we have a couple avenues in which we can work with school districts. What we have learned, our learning lessons along the way, is every school district is different. And so we have learned how to, through the process of working with Karen, how do we work with the strengths of the teacher, the strengths of the students. And so that's really what excites us about the big impact that we're making, that we're currently making within the organization. Okay, so all these failures that we talked about along the way, we've come to a really fun recipe of what makes our curriculum one of a kind. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure, I can
Okay,
talk about
yeah.
this. So, we're not just putting kids in front of computers or iPads and having them play coding games. All of the concepts, or I would say most of the concepts that we do also have a physical component. So if we're doing conditionals, we get up out of our seats and create a conditional statement where they can act it out. Like if I'm touching yellow, then I'm gonna say, I love her academy.
I love her academy.
If you're not touching, you don't say anything. So then the girls will, I have them work in their computer science notebook to program classmates to go through the room, like go to when the green flag is clicked, go to a window, wait 3 seconds. Say, I love CSG, go to X0, Y0, which is a coordinate back at their stool where they sit. So
They like to code standing in their seat.
yeah.
They like to sneak those fun things in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't think. She did scoot, go back to XY, scoot on your belly on your stools for 4 scoots. That was, she was in 2nd grade last year. And we're debugging, we're having students come up and plug into the big smart board to share their screen, to share their works in progress. We don't always just show the finished product. We had a 5th grader one year who had always been very perfectionistic, and she said, I have a problem, I don't know what to do. Can I share my screen? And Lena and I looked at each other like, she wants to share? And it's not perfect. This is awesome. And she came up and her classmates helped her debug that.
That's great. Yeah, so sharing out in the process is actually something that her academy took from industry through program management reviews. So what we want the students to start doing is they become the subject matter experts. They're going to share out, and then they are going to become the input of how to solve their problems, so that they don't think that only adults have the answers to computer science questions. They do. They can figure it out. And so we are very intentional in our after-school programs, in our summer camps, that when the kids share out, it is never at the end of this big finale final project thing, because your project can always be integrated. But what we find is that the true magic comes in when they're sharing out during the process. That's when they're learning, that's when we're learning, and that learning is just exponential that takes place, and they find each other as subject matter experts. So that was a really fun win, and we are all very intentional in making sure that we do not share out a final project, because then they start comparing again, and that's not fun. Okay, number 3.
I remember what this one was about.
So instead of computer science just being solely technical, STEM, when the pandemic hit, we had superintendents, we had parents come to us and say, our kids need social emotional help. And at that time, Shannon and I started taking positive psychology master classes because we heard what the market wanted. Okay, they want computer science and our kids need help coming out of the pandemic. So we said, if we can integrate social emotional learning into computer science, then our nation's schools can integrate social emotional learning into any subject. And so this was a really fun challenge for us. Some of the things that we do is when somebody talks about a girl in general, and they want her to feel good about herself, they may say, you're bold, you are powerful. But like, what other words do we hear people talk about girls? And what do girls have that they can say, I am, that's unique for them? And so we took 24 character strengths, and here shows just a little exercise we do in our summer camps is they get a sheet and it has 24 strengths. It can be about justice. It can be, I am full of zest. Girls are so humorous. They're so fun. And so to give them the language to talk about how they are unique and they have strengths. What's fun about it at these younger ages is that we will have them circle. So this one is bravery, zest, love of nature. They will pick out 4 and they'll circle them, and then the group is in a circle. They'll get up with their marker. Each one has a different marker, and then they'll go into the next one and they'll circle what they see in that other person. So then this girl will come out with all of these fun strengths about her that she provides to the world, her family, and friends. And so it's another way to give them confidence about what they do. So that's a fun way. We do a lot of global awareness, and so this picture is 3D wood and cardboard of musical instruments of the world that are unknown and rare. So one may be a nose flute, one may be a hurdy-gurdy.
Yeah. And so that was a project that was a collaboration with library. Our theme for the whole year was music. And the 4th graders were studying these instruments from different parts of the world. And our final project was to build a model of the instrument with recycled materials or draft board that they laser cut. So some of them laser cut, some of them constructed out of cardboard, and then they programmed their information that they had learned about and researched in library class. They programmed that in Scratch and then used the makey board to create aluminum foil buttons so the viewer could come, touch the button, and learn about that instrument and hear the sound from that instrument.
Very impressive.
Yeah. 4th graders. Yeah.
And then the other thing is kicking the perfectionism habit. And the slogan that the girls know when we say it's good, they'll finish enough. What is good enough? So in our projects and lessons, they know what the requirements are. And for us, we are not going to praise anybody that goes above and beyond those requirements. We are going to praise when you hit the requirements, high five, like great job. And that is your choice if you want to do more and work on that. But getting them to understand that they don't have to always go above and beyond what they do. And there's another stat that I recently read, and that's 13-year-old boys know how to get an 89 in what they do. And it's, okay, so why do boys know how to get an 89 and the girls don't? And that's because men have been great examples for them on how to do good enough. Whereas women, we're giving 100% in jobs, we're giving 100% in our relationships, we're giving 100% in community activities. And what women have not been an example for girls is Where am I gonna give a 60% this month? Where am I gonna accept? I can only give 60%, or I can only give 40%. And whatever that is, all that I'm doing has to add up to my efforts, but it can't be above 100%. And so it's really important that girls understand what's good enough. And it is a culture change, and I think it took about 2 years for them, but over practice and doing problems and lessons, they were able to have the opportunity to be proud of what they've done and proud of good enough. Like, good enough is amazing. Okay, so as a partner, so her academy is really proud of what we've helped one of our first partner schools do. And so our partner school is now able to say that 94% of girls who take a Her Academy class or computer science class through our curriculum and partnership are going to take another computer science class. Like, she's really excited about this. CSG allowed Karen to engage in an activity that most organizations would not take a risk on, would not initially think, hey, let's take the librarian and let's have her lead our computer science activities. But we know that when we have an individual who's willing to take risks and be vulnerable, they are able to be the best computer science teacher those students have seen. And we know that any student can be a computer science learner and enthusiast through our programming. And then what's really amazing is that in Columbus, Ohio, we have an organization that has the largest number of girls studying computer science. I mean, incredible. So that's been a fun journey for us. Okay, so we're welcome to take any questions at this point. You have my contact at lenaheracademy.org. Karen's is on there, Karen Scranton, ColumbusSchoolForGirls.org. And before you guys leave, I'd love for everybody to pick up. We have these affirmation cards that we always give to our students. We have a couple here, so you can pick one for yourself, but you can write a note, give it to others throughout the week to be an encouragement. Our girls really love these. My card is up here, and then we are launching through our State of the Girl, we are launching scholarships. So this is an opportunity to give to girls who want to partake in our programs but don't have the opportunity. And if you know of girls ages 8 through 12 that would love an opportunity like this, shoot me an email and I'd love to get connected and get them on our list for scholarships.
Awesome.
Great. There was a question.
We're going to do the Q&A portion in just a second. Sorry. Okay. All right. So this is going to be a talking stick. It does not amplify, but it does help the recording. So, Alicia, you're going to hand that out to whoever has a question. You got the talking stick to do the Q&A.
And I think we have, what, about 8 minutes, 6 minutes?
Yes.
So I want to keep that in mind. Now we can continue to talk a little bit after, but, okay. Thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for the presentation. What is one of your biggest barriers to expanding the program outside of CSG, other than the school districts? Are there funding barriers as well?
Yeah, I would say it is the willingness to start a new program. What we've found to get through those barriers is in the public schools, it's the test taking, and there's not computer science on state standards. And so the leader of a district, what risk are they willing to take to bring in computer science? What we have found is that they are willing to do after-school programs. And so once we start an after-school program with a school, we find we build a relationship with the teachers, the students. Once the parents advocate, hey, my kid wants more of this, then it goes into the day-to-day of the school. And so we are in other schools outside of here that are co-ed schools. When we have after-school programming, we require that they fill with at least 50% girls for those programs.
So I have 2 boys. but I've been wanting a girl the whole time. My wife calls it baby fever, I guess.
Yeah.
It has baby fever, something like that. So yeah, that's awesome. But one of the things I noticed with them is you said confidence a lot in the presentation, and fantastic presentation, by the way.
Thank you.
With them, they're extremely confident when they know things,
Mhm.
and their self-esteem is through the roof.
Mhm.
But when they don't know things, I've noticed how I would classify it as more like anxiety,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty true for us adults as well.
Mhm.
So my question is, like, when these girls are coming into the program, they're all gonna have kind of different starting points of the knowledge that they know and don't know.
Mhm.
So what are you guys doing to tackle that?
Yeah, great question. So what are we doing to tackle, we have kids coming in at different levels. We have integrated within our curriculum, our training for teachers, and how we conduct our programs. We will have a base of what we teach the kids, and then we will have a level up challenge. So that those kids who get it right away, or maybe have had exposure, go on to that next challenge. We have one more level up after that. What we find is one of our secrets is for the students to share out. The students are very excited to learn from each other. And so those kids that are ahead, we find, are now helping others. But what we teach them, we teach girls too, but we find with boys are willing to help and show their knowledge is, do you want to talk a little bit about how you help teach the girls? But when we're in co-ed schools, we especially kind of focus on the boys,
Yeah,
what they,
sometimes it'll be the students that may be more advanced that are sharing. Other times it'll be, and I don't have any problem getting volunteers to host. I have hosts, and that is a student that comes up and plugs in their computer. And actually, often I will use a kid that I know is new to it. So, and the point being, they're seeing their classmates screen while I'm coaching the classmate what the concept is that we're working on. So, but I do think the level up challenges are key to that, where the new learners, the new students who haven't had the history, especially like for me, it's in fourth and fifth grade. If they're brand new, they're getting the basics, and I will sit with them while the other kids might be working independently. I'll coach them through, just, while I'm sitting next to them.
and some coaching tactics you have is, like the kids have to coach with their hands behind their back, so that kids get so excited to help that they want to put their hands on the kid's computer and do it for them. So we have to coach them to talk them through that, and so
And
that,
I have to apologize a lot for, oh, I'm so sorry I touched your screen. I should not be doing that.
or ensuring that the kids, and oftentimes we find it's boys, we're coaching, you're asking her if she needs help. You're not telling her that she needs help. Oh, I'll help you. Wait, come here, let's let me do that. Ask her if she needs help. Do you need help? Yes, I need help. She's asking for help versus you're telling. And then we will have times where we will have kids in different groups, and some of those kids who have moved along are onto another project, and the kids are just so into what they're doing because it's ownership of their idea that they don't feel left out. Like, we don't see kids get like, oh my gosh, I'm looking over here at this group, and they are learning and excited about what they're currently in the moment.
And another way that's handled too is that along the way at each grade level, there's something new that's introduced. It might be a new programming language or a new physical computing device that we're using, or a new robotics kit. So they all end up at the same on this level playing field by doing things like that too.
And you have kids that go above the requirements, and that kind of gives us time as well, that these other kids are getting to their end point, what the others are going above.
I think my question was kind of answered by way of the other two questions, but my question was, how reliable is the scalability of this? or do you have to, it appears that Karen is like a really phenomenal teacher. Just like, you can tell you're a really great educator, and one that's like willing to take on a lot of different new tasks. How reliable is her academy on finding those teachers as you go out, or is that like, the
Yeah.
struggle is to find more Karens, because it seems that Karen is kind of an anomaly.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of teachers are like really phenomenal teachers and are obviously doing the work because they really care about the kids and the mission behind the education system. But Karen appears to be like a great teacher
I
taking
agree.
on this task.
100%.
And so is the program already built and the curriculum built to be scalable, or is it
It is.
because Karen is so good at her job?
I know, I love this question. Karen is, yeah, amazing. This is something that we've had to think through. And what it has caused us to do is to have these really difficult conversations with administrators when they say, here's my math teacher. I say, I don't want your math teacher. Here's my science teacher. I don't want your science teacher. I want the teacher that is willing to take risks, get uncomfortable, and be vulnerable in front of students. I need somebody that's going to fit these 3 requirements. I don't care if they have a science background or not. I don't care if they've been teaching music in preschool for 25 years. I don't care if they're brand new, but they have to be willing to do these 3 things. And what we find is that when that's met, this is what we get in other places.
You gotta have curiosity too.
Yeah.
I just love it. I keep telling people I don't need to retire because I learn something new every day. It's really fun.
And what did you feel about retirement before?
I was counting. Yeah, I was at 12 years until I was going to be the age that I thought I would want to retire, and I'm like, I'm good. There's always something new to learn, a new project.
We had a meeting over the weekend, and I said, have you talked to your manager about when you're going to retire? She's like, no, I'm not retiring. I haven't had that conversation. I was like,
Wait, there's one really quick follow-up then.
Yeah.
So then you're looking for, you specifically, her academy go into a school district, something like that, specifically asking for a teacher that is maybe not,
maybe the art teacher, maybe the social studies teacher.
I'm just curious, like,
Yes.
how do you define that teacher? Because it seems like my understanding or my guess would be is that like if you're taking a teacher that's so curious and so wise and a good teacher, they're already like in the best classes maybe.
Yeah, they're already doing everything else for that school. They're
Yeah,
doing
and
the
so
iPads.
how do you go about finding a teacher
Yeah.
without? Yeah, I
You
don't
know,
I don't know how to say what I'm saying.
Part of it that is helpful is that these teachers, no teacher in Ohio has become a teacher with a computer science background. They've taken these college level classes and built their confidence and their subject matter expertise through their college experience. So we're not going to come in and just hand it over. We have found that this is a journey and we are doing coaching along the way. And so we're going to help you co-create curriculum. We're going to help you, if you need to deliver that, you need somebody to help you deliver and see what it looks like being delivered. We're going to help you. And it is 2 to 3 year journey. And we find that with others as well, is that we're just not going to come in, you get your PD, and then out we go. This is a true partnership so that they're building their confidence along the way. Because you're right, teachers take great pride in being subject matter experts at what they do every single day. And if you change that, it is really uncomfortable for them. Yeah.
And I was ready for a change.
Yeah.
I was ready to learn something new. That's like, I'll do something for 2 years or 10 years in this case for music. And I was done and I was ready for a new challenge.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I really love the fact that your curriculum does follow them through elementary, middle school, and high school. My question is there a fork in the road, or when does that fork happen between once they start building their own individual interest, where would they rather be like entrepreneur focused and building that independent mindset, or would they rather be like career focused where they're learning to collaborate amongst teams and build that development to become or to work in the corporate industry?
Yeah, we find with the students we work with, There is great enthusiasm from that preschool through 6th grade. And then in 7th and 8th grade, they're trying a lot of other things. And they're making decisions and coming and going from them. And then in high school, you have other responsibilities, like work, school, and how are you gonna fit that in? And so we are testing, you know, we're waiting to see what that looks like, where these kids that we have had since elementary are now in 8th grade. We have had the school say, like, we might need some new curriculum for them because they're past our 9th grade curriculum. But we'll have new kids coming in 9th grade as well, so what does that look like? It's a good question where, you know, I would love as a woman in STEM to see them become computer scientists, but really about building their confidence and taking what they've learned into those other spaces and have confidence in trying those new things as well and giving them the grace to make mistakes and learn along the way. But right now our sweet spot is that elementary through middle school.
So one last formal question, but then there's a little bit of time afterwards.
Thanks. I have a quick comment and a question. So my comment or suggestion, I was an educator with Teach for America, and or with the Teach. So it's, I mean, the high levels, they are typically looking for like really high competency individuals right out of college that don't necessarily have the education background. So it just came to mind as something you need to consider.
Yeah, that's a great
and
point.
schools to partner with that, you know, those teachers are very knowledgeable and a high competency. And then my question is, and I think we asked this last time, so maybe a follow-up, as you think about the growth of the program, how do you think about her academy participating in or contributing to the change in curriculum requirements and the change of standardization when it comes to testing and just what the schools require in general?
Yeah, this is a great question, and in being in education, you have a front row seat here. In computer science, the AP computer science class has not been changed for 15 years. But we all know, like, how many things have happened in the past.
There's a lot of very good
What we are able to prove at such a young age, we have standards matched to our curriculum. And Shannon and I talk about this, is we feel that we should be rewriting the standards to what children are capable of doing. And so it's hard because those that are doing it just want to check the box. All right, we did it. Our standards, basically Ohio took another state's standards and said, okay, do we want to change anything? It looks good. Because they're volunteering their time to do that. And so at a state level, we could change that. But what her academy is currently doing is we testified in March, April, and May with the Finance Committee for Ohio to help allocate $4 million towards computer science education for students. Now the hard part is that Ohio's never done this before, and so it's gonna take some, we're ready to go, but it's gonna take some time to do that. And so we're probably 10 years away from that. But it's a regular conversation that we have when we're looking at, okay, these are the nation standards, these are our state standards, and this is what we see girls achieving at. Yeah. So what we're doing, I would say, is this year we're doing a lot of conferences. We're trying to get it in front of as many national conferences as possible. The Ohio Tech Ed, we'll get in front of that, and we'll start telling our story and showing proof that we can do more.
Awesome. So the last question we ask every presenter, as you know, is what can we as a community do for you?
Yes. I would say our big push right now is, as we're looking to scale, but we have a lot of interest, is getting girls in the community involved in our scholarship program. And so getting girls in the queue to be part of that program, or pointing us to donors or corporations that are willing to give to help support these girls in the mission.
Awesome. Thank you.